Katrina is still fairly fresh in all of our minds. Preservation, functioning, return to normalcy is very fresh in our minds. But even though everybody says it's been 4 years, we're still just getting back.
For centuries, stage managers have created prompt books, for example, that have all the information that any 5-year-old would need to maintain and remount the production, for example.
Right.
And it's all in one book, right? So the problem is when that book is contained on a hard drive, which is either destroyed or inaccessible because the National Guard's locked you out of your building. You know, part of the problem is the nature of disaster. The incident itself, the inciting incident, is always, catastrophic. In this case, it displaced an entire organization completely, just like wiped it off the map. But it doesn't stop there. The real disaster, the real impact of the disaster, is what unfolds in trying to rebuild from the disaster.
We had another evacuation 2 years ago, and we did everything according to plan, and that went quite well.
Yeah.
Phones were not out, and so we were very fortunate. But when you come back and you do your post-event evaluation, we said, we got lucky, and so this time we need to think about what if we had no internet, what if there was no electronic media available, how would we do this?
As the fire became under control, then the donations began to pour in. I think one of the reasons I could say we were somewhat prepared is because we'd had a practice run in 2003 with another wildfire that wasn't, actually it was bigger somewhat than this fire in terms of losses of property. But that was an urban fire where the fire encroached into the metropolitan area. This fire, 2007, covered more land, but the land was in rural areas, so we didn't have as many structures to be lost. So in answer to your question, we were more prepared because we'd already gone through scenarios where the foundation was expected to handle the donations and get them out. All kinds of issues come into play when you're now moving into tribal lands, and so you have the whole federal relationship with these sovereign nations. You don't have tribal property in the metropolitan area, so we have to build expertise in that way.
There are so many different kinds of disasters, and we've talked a lot about that here, whether they're financial, whether they're pandemic, whether they are fraud related, whether they're natural disasters. There are so many ways in which an already very difficult sector operates, the nonprofit arts sector operates. There's so many challenges when things are going really well that when something goes really badly, you especially need all the help you can get, all the tools you have in your toolkit, and all the good ideas that you could possibly have. And this has been helpful.
We were very interested in building bridges between performing arts organizations and some of the projects that we'd already supported in fields like higher education, where there's tremendous institutional capacity for the development of really terrific cutting-edge quality software. Software of the kind that arts organizations are typically in desperate need of. And it was, as these things sometimes are, sort of a happenstantial situation that brought us together with Southern Arts Federation.
What continuity planning is an attempt to answer the question, what can we do now to make ourselves more ready to face any type of disaster event, big or small, or intermediate? In other words, what can we do now to make us resilient enough so that no matter what hits us, we can keep on doing what we normally do?
Someone has to keep their head cool. The plan helps you do that, helps you put one foot in front of another. I think that's the wonderful thing about this ArtsReady is that so much of that information will be available that you just put one step in front of the other and do what you do. Keep focused, keep your staff focused, keep the board focused.
I can see just the fact that this conversation is happening shaping the way arts organizations think about emergency preparedness, recovery planning, whatever you want to call it. One of the things I've learned is that there are about 36 different names for this. that conversation would be valuable if nothing else happened, but of course, obviously, we're hoping that a great deal more than that. It'll go much farther than that. I've confirmed what I'd suspected, which is that small arts organizations are so limited in their resources, both human and financial, that in order to be of help, this thing is going to have to be dead easy. That it will have to be as close to effortless as human ingenuity can make it. I think what I would like to see come out of this most is a sustainable design for how we take all of the insights that have been generated here and that we hope will continue to be generated in the rest of the process, and convert those into not just the technology, but again, that sustaining community. Find a sustainability model that allows the people who have the passion and the resources to contribute those resources to help make it affordable to the arts organizations that don't have the resources, and build that economy, that internal economy to the project in such a way that it can make, that the project can add value to any arts organization anywhere in the country. That would be, for me, the ideal outcome.
For those of us who are serious about preparedness and who have been forced or who have chosen to become engaged in this conversation, any and all efforts are appreciated. Any and all conversations are valuable. Any and all convenings have the potential to bear good fruit.